Hey you guys. Okay, I am going to just softly speak with you guys in this video and tap on this mat and give you an update on the last 4 or 5 days. They have been crazy, just crazy. So kind of a cross between not ASMR videos where I just like tell you funny stories and an actual ASMR video, so super informal. Okay, here's the deal. Where do I even start? I'm back in Egypt. 4 days ago, I was visiting the US, so 4 days ago when I was still in the US, all of the crazy things started to happen. So, first of all, I had to, while in the US, I had to go through a process with the passport agencies to change my name on my passport. That was actually one of the major reasons that I went back, and which actually ends up being very funny towards the middle of this story. So that was one of the reasons I was going back. I had changed my name and everything, and I had to, like on my bank statements and on a few other things, I needed to do that. I went through a divorce about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and so I was changing my name. Okay, so I got an appointment when I first got to the US, okay, because the way it works is if you want to get your passport back to you in an expedited fashion, you need to go through this process, because otherwise it'll take like 4 to 6 weeks and up to I think 11 weeks to receive your passport back if you applying for a new one for the first time, or a new one after some time not having one, or like for me, renewing and or like changing your name on it. So I basically, you have to call this number if you have a flight within 14 days of your call, okay? I was only in the US for about 13 days. So they told me, when you arrive, make this call and set up an appointment with the passport agency, and they will give you the opportunity to go in person, bring your old passport, and you go through this process where you can get your new one, okay? And you should be able to get it before your flight. Okay, and this is really important because I booked my ticket in my name. Okay, so I'm going to call it my new name, my old name, okay? I booked the one ticket, see how it chipped my nails off and traveling? So I booked my ticket to the US in one name, my old name. And I booked my ticket from the US back to Egypt in my new name, because they have to match your passport. Your ticket name has to match your passport name, otherwise they won't let you on the flight. So I had to get my passport back with my new name in order to get back to Egypt. And of course, I already purchased the tickets, because if you have to do that. If you don't purchase your tickets, they're going to be crazy expensive. So I purchased them long in advance, a few months back. Okay, so everything on my trip was like really special. I had a really great trip. I got to see all my friends and family, got to do some really special things. It was wonderful. Okay, but now it's like down to the wire, because there's certain things that, have to get done at the last minute. For example, another thing is you have to have your COVID test before you get on a flight, and it has to be a negative COVID test. It's very detailed, and it's specific to each country that you're going to, okay? That is like a last minute thing. You can't do that like in advance. It has to be within, for an international flight, it's like 72 hours of your flight, you have to have a negative result, or your vaccine card. So, but it depends on the country. Some will only accept the PCR test. They don't care if you're vaccinated. Some are the other way around. Okay. What else? Okay. Also, I did all of my doctor's appointments when I was in the US, dentist appointments. I got all these things checked out. I had an infection before I left for the US, and I wanted to get that checked out. So I had all these things in motion, okay? And they're all like building up to the end of the trip. I got a phone call from a doctor 2 nights before I was supposed to leave. I thought I had everything finished, and they're like, we'd like you to come in for an appointment. It's on this, you need to do this. And I was like, oh man, how am I going to do that in the next 2 days when I have like so many things to do? So here goes. My appointment with the passport agency. My flight is on June 8th. back to Egypt. My appointment with the passport agency, June 6th. Okay. You have to get there at 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, that's when your first appointment is. You have to bring your paperwork. They don't explain any more of the process other than show up at 7, bring all your paperwork, your application, your passport, the fee. And for me, I had to bring my divorce decree or my divorce judgment to show the name change, because you can change your name when you go through a process of divorce. You have a place where you can actually change your name officially with the government if you want to. So they give you that option. So I have my name change officially there, and then you use that document to change it in other places. So bring all those things with you. It said to bring a copy of your name change, if it's a marriage certificate, or for me, divorce certificate, etc., okay? So I get there. I'm in the line. I left my home at 5 in the morning because it's so important. I needed this to get back, and it's an expensive ticket that I've purchased. I don't want that to go to waste, etc. I don't want to miss my flight or something. So I leave at 5 in the morning. I arrive at 6 in the morning, and I sat in my car for like 30 minutes. I was just happy to be there on time, and I thought, okay, I'll like go and find like around like 6:30. I'm like, I'll go and like find the building now. I get out and I see this like huge line. I'm like, oh no. There's a really long line. That's okay. Okay, so I sat in the line, and that really, the line wasn't the problem, because I knew, okay, I have an appointment, it's fine. But then you look around, you're like asking, like some people started asking me, what appointment time do you have? I'm like, 7 a.m. They're like, me too. Then everyone around is like, I have a 7 a.m. appointment too. We realized the entire line, 7 a.m. appointments. This is how they do it. They bring in 50 to 100 people per appointment slot per day. So we stand in line for a long time. I go through in there. I get in, and the lady asks me for my passport. She asked me for my application. She asked me for my fees. She didn't ask me for the divorce paperwork to change my name. And I thought, well, she knows what she's doing, so no problem. She filed it. So she's like, okay, gives me a ticket. She says, come back tomorrow at 1 p.m. And I was like, tomorrow? Okay. It kind of worked out because I had like it's a long drive too, like it's not close, so I was like, okay, sure, I can try and make that happen. I had no choice, because I thought, from what they had told me, you get it the same day, and some people I think might, but I wasn't offered that. So I leave, I go and do like 14 things back to back. There were other things going on too. I had an important meeting. I had like nuggets, the little ones in my life. There's so many things. Okay, so then the next day, P.S. that night is when I got the call from the doctor. Okay, so the next day I was like, okay, I'm going to see if I can get an appointment today. So I'm like calling the doctor throughout the day. I emailed multiple times trying to get, can I make this? I was like, weird, like you need to wait for them to call you to get the appointment. So I was like, it was just a thing. It was a thing. I was calling everybody, leaving emails, etc. Heard back from no one. Okay, so it just goes on and on. Okay, but the next day arrives, 1 p.m. Supposed to go pick it up. I drive the long drive again. It's not in the morning this time, so there's a lot more. Takes longer. Okay, so I get there, wait in the line again, and I get up to the front, and the person's like, searching through. Like, I give them my slip with my name and the number, etc., to go look it up, give them my new passport. The person's like, goes back and forth from me to the window, kind of looks at me, goes back to the file, trying to find mine, comes back and is like, it looks like we didn't actually get your divorce paperwork. I'm like, yeah, she never asked me for it. I thought that was weird. They're like, oh, yeah, okay, do you have it with you? I'm like, yeah, it's right here. I brought it still in case. I didn't know when you would need it, or if like it wasn't important. I don't know. So I gave it to them, and they're like, okay, we'll be right back. Then like the guy like keeps walking towards me, and keeps like, you see him like shuffling around, like something's clearly wrong. Finally, another lady like walks up to me, and she's like, hello, so the paperwork you gave me is not a certified copy, it's just a copy. And I was like, cool. What's the difference? Like, I really didn't know. Like, it said submit a copy of your name, of your whatever, you know, it had a list. Court orders, which mine was like a court order, or like marriage certificate, etc. And she said it actually needs to be a certified copy where, like, it's one of those. Now I kind of know what it is after she told me. She said you need to actually go to the courthouse, and you need to you pay for this. They will, like, basically they'll make a copy and they stamp the copy. And I'm like, really? Like, making a copy is not enough? Okay. And literally at this point, it's like about 2 p.m, you know, and my flight's the next day. I don't have my passport, and I need to go in a lot of traffic back to the area where I filed for divorce. It has to be at that courthouse, and you hope that they can. So I'm like on the phone driving there, like, is it even possible to get this today? Like, is this even going to be possible for me to receive it within hours? Would that be possible? Okay, because they said if you can get this, you can come back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Again, that means waking up at 5, getting there at 7, the day of my flight. If I can get this paper, if I can. Okay, I'm still calling doctors. I'm still waiting for things. Oh yeah, I woke up that day to a text from my friend. So the 6th happened. Now it's the 7th. My flight's the next day on the 8th. 7th. I wake up to a text from my friend, one of my close friends I'd spent time with, and they're like, "We're really sorry, but we just tested positive for COVID. We don't know if, like, you might have it and you might not be able to get on your flight because you can't get on if you're positive for COVID." Cool. So I'm like, great. Cool. So I've got like 3 things that are up in the air, because I'm thinking, if I need to do doctor's appointment before I leave, like, it is an important one, like, I should stay for that. I need to do that. That could be very important. Or I could get a positive COVID test, and that could not work out. Or I could not get my passport, and that could not work out. So, like, I'm generally, like, probably not getting on a flight. I also am calling the airline, by the way, in all of this, trying to find out, is it possible to, like, change my flight by, like, a week or something, to stay longer for a week so I can get these things sorted out, and etc. And I'm not exaggerating about this phone call. Okay, I called Orbitz. I get my tickets usually through Orbitz. I like them usually. Okay, I call them. I'm like, hey, is there any way for me to change this flight? Could I get information on the cost if I were to change the date? And she said, actually, you can change your ticket for free, but you have to pay the difference, right? I'm like, okay, could you give me the price for that? I'm not exaggerating. I don't know how it's even possible that someone would say these words. She, like, spends a long time. I'm on hold for a really long time. And she's like, she comes back, she's like, okay. So she's got, like, a happy voice, like, as if this is good news. She's like, okay, so yeah, we can change that for free for you. But you have to pay the difference. I'm like, yeah, what's the difference? She goes, 6,700 and some change. And I was like, come again? What did you just say? 6,700. And I literally had to clarify. She had, like, a fairly thick accent. I want to say she had, like, kind of a Latin thing going on. It was beautiful, but I couldn't understand completely. And I was like, wait, there's no way she's saying 6,000. I was like, could you please say that, like, really clearly and slower? Because, like, I'm afraid did you say 6,700? She's like, yes, 6,700. Oh my gosh, are you joking? I literally laughed. I was like, I just started laughing. I was like, yeah, that's not possible. Is there do you have any other options? That's ridiculous. I think I said that. Like, well, that's ridiculous. So, you know, I mean, is it, like, I had even looked on Orbitz trying to call her, and I found, like, okay, if I were to leave in, like, a few weeks, it's expensive, and I didn't want to do that amount, but it's significantly less than 6,000. At that point, I realized this lady she's not looking into all the options. She's not thinking clearly. What can we say? She can't be thinking clearly. This is not, you can't tell someone that when there's, like, clearly you can look at an option a week later and give me that. Okay. I said, I've got to go. I have so many things to do. Thank you for your help. And I immediately started looking on my own on Orbitz for different prices. Of course, I found, like, other options that were way cheaper than that. I don't know. Okay. So, at this point, I'm going to grab something to tap on, okay? Because I've got this, like, little guy here, so I'm going to tap on this while I talk with you guys. So, next. What? Where am I? Did I tell you? Okay. So that was in the meantime also trying to call the airline. Okay, so I rush over to the courthouse. I make it within probably a half hour of it closing. And I'm like, hi, is it possible to get a certified copy, of my divorce paperwork? And thankfully, I was able to get that really quickly. I paid for like 3 copies, so I'd have more of them in case I ever needed them. Didn't want to have to go back and do that again like that. So I had it, and I was like, wow, I actually got it. I can't believe it. But I still thought, okay, they told me, if you get it, come back the next day at 7 a.m., turn it in, and then come back again at 1 p.m. to pick it up. I had to leave for the airport at 1 p.m. I had to leave for the airport at 1 p.m. in order to be on time for my flight. But I needed to pick it up at 1 p.m. So I had really no choice. Thankfully, this place is a bit closer to the airport, so it's like it made it, okay, maybe this is possible. So I wake up that morning. Oh, yeah, and on the 7th, I also got my COVID test. Okay, so everything's happening. My COVID test to get a PCR test is called. And you have to make sure you're negative to get on the flight, etc. Okay. Next day, I wake up in the morning, still have heard nothing back from any doctor. I'm like, well, okay. This is the day of my flight. I wake up at 5 a.m. again. I go to the office. Thankfully, I'm like almost first in line. And I go in, I turn the paperwork in, they accept it. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, well that's good. I leave. I kid you not, I had a dance class between that because my dance teacher that I love in the US, I told her I'd be back, and I told her the only day that I could actually attend the class would be that day, because I didn't think I had anything that morning at that time. Like I thought I'd have everything I needed. I could just go to the class and then get on a flight, which is, I don't know, I like dancing before I get in long international flights, like, it helps your body. So I told her that she planned like an entire set, like she planned things so that like we'd be dancing to all the songs that like would be, I don't know, super fun and like my style. She knows me well. It was just going to be really sweet. So I had told her, like, I'm going to do my absolute best to get to your class. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'm going to do my absolute best. So thankfully, because my appointment was like, I got there, I was almost first in line, got through quickly. I dashed back to my area. I go to this class. It was super fun and super sweet. Then I dash back to shower, get my suitcase, and go back to my appointment. I've still not received my results of my COVID test at this point. And like I need to receive them by about 2 p.m. in order to get on the plane. Like you need to go through all the checkouts. The very first thing you do when you fly is that you need to give them that. So I'm kind of shuffling all these things and juggling all these things, and I get to the airport. I get to the passport office for my 1 p.m. appointment again. Thankfully, they let me go in the very beginning. I told them my situation, and they anybody that was coming back for like multiple times, they actually did let go in first, and that was really great. So I went in, and I'm like, I actually was quite nervous. I'm like, I have no idea what's about to happen. I don't know. I go up to the front. It goes to like search for my paperwork again. The person's like searching for a while. I was like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. What went wrong this time? They can't find it. And they're searching through different bins. Finally, they looked through another bin and they found it. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Still don't have my COVID test back yet though. And the reason that's significant is because, like I said, my friend had said she's positive. So I could be positive and not be able to get on the plane. Also, still have not heard back from my doctor. So at this point, it's like, okay, I had done some research and realized like I'll try to just do this test they want me to do, like in Egypt, okay? And it's not ideal, but like, okay, let's do this, because like I have my health insurance in the US and I can use that and pay less, and I also have like doctors that I know, etc. But at this point, it's like, well, I don't really have a lot of options. So I walk into the passport office. I'm like nervous. They finally did find it. They gave it to me, and then like I'm rushing to the airport. And as I'm approaching the airport, I finally get my results from the COVID test, and thank God they were negative. So I get into the airport, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm still a bit nervous because like things happen. Like when I came back to the US the last time, something had changed in the Egypt's policies for how you can get in. You needed something called a QR code on your PCR test. It didn't matter if you had a negative results and you had your PCR test, it needed to have a QR code. And if you didn't have that, they were not going to let you on the plane. And I was not allowed on the plane. I had to wait again for a day. I had to get a last minute COVID test. It can be, you have to like know all the updated changes, and that was my fault. I had been to the US within 9 months of that, and they didn't require the QR code at the time, so I thought I knew what was needed, but they had updated it quite recently, in fact. And so I didn't get to go on. So I'm still nervous. I'm like, I have no idea if I'm getting on the plane. Anything's possible here. So I finally get all my baggage up to like I had 2 bags, and I get up to like the place where you have to check in your bags, etc. And they're like, okay, cool. Like I got through with everything. Like they accepted my paperwork. I accepted my passport. Everything was fine. And they're like, okay, so you have 2 bags, so you're gonna have to pay $100 for the second bag. And I was like, what? I'm going on an international flight and always get like 2 bags free. I always get 2 bags free. But this was with United. And I think because of that, even like United is an American airline that I didn't realize had international and domestic flights. Because often, anyway, they had an international, you could get it onto the plane through there. United, like in the terminal when you go, usually you just go to the international terminal. But in this case, I actually went through United because they had an international section, blah, blah, blah. So I think that could be why that was different. I don't know, it was really weird. But I was like, well, not going to do that. So I start like taking, you have to do the suitcase shuffle. I haven't had to do this for, I don't know if I've ever had to do this actually, because I usually weigh my bags before I get to the airport. But sometimes people haven't weighed them and like they've got too much weight, so they're like switching between bags to try and even out. They're like throwing away heavy things, the whole thing. So in this case, I needed to remove. I thought they were all going on the plane. So you can have liquids and things like that. Your creams, your liquids, I had like bottles of acetone for my nails, blah 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 blah. Well, I've said blah blah a lot of times in this video. Okay. Okay, so I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to take everything out of this little bag so I can make it into a carry-on, and I have to like swap things. So guys, this is just, I had packed my bags with tampons. Okay, tampons everywhere, pads and panty liners and tampons, because in Egypt you can't find tampons. Okay, if you do, they're like the cardboard kind, and they're really expensive for like 5 or 6 of them. So I stock up on tampons. I did that the last trip too. And the way you do that is because like you don't have a lot of space. So what you do is you have to open the tampon boxes, at least I do this, and the little panty liners. And like when you finish packing, you just stick them on the top and stick them everywhere, because they fill in the gaps, they fill in the gaps instead of like big boxes, like they take up a lot of space. And if you just use it as a gap filler everywhere, it's as if you get tons of space that way. Okay, I have tampons all across the top of both suitcases. When you open them, that's what you see, tampons and pads everywhere, and a lot of Ziploc bags too, because they're like gold here for me. So I open my bag. I'm just like, I've resigned. I've resigned to the fact that like anyone around me is just going to be. That's sort of funny. Like they're just going to see tampons. They're there, but then they kind of roll out a bit too, because they're kind of stuffed in there on the top. So I open my bag, a few tampons roll out. It's just filled with tampons. I'm like, here we go. Okay, this is what we're doing. I'm pulling out like all my bags of like acetone and different creams and stuff, and I'm putting them in the bag that's going on the plane. And I'm taking the things from the bag that is going on the plane that are just like clothing and such that can go on the smaller one and go through security without a problem. I pop all my clothes in there, I'm swapping, because I don't know if you know, if you don't know, You can't bring liquids onto a plane if it's in your carry-on unless they're under 3 ounces and fit into the size of a Ziploc bag. So I had to swap. So I'm like, I'm that person, you know, I'm that person now on the ground, just like switching things and stuff, and you know. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I swap everything, right? I turn one bag in that's going on the plane. I got my other bag that's like coming with me, and I go through security, etc. Okay, thank God I got on the plane. Then I did my layover. Then I got on the plane to go to Egypt. So it's like long trip. Okay, long trip. First trip's very, very long. The first flight. Then you have a layover. Then you go on your second flight to Egypt. Okay, I arrive in Egypt. My friend is there waiting to pick me up, which was so sweet. I could take Uber, but my friend's really sweet and wanted to pick me up. And so they're waiting for me, right? So I go through the processes that you have to go through. I get out, and you'll probably guess what happened next if you see all the things that have happened so far. I get out through passport control. I'm super excited. I'm finally back in Egypt. I feel so thankful. And I stand waiting for my bag. Does my bag come? What do you think? Do you think my bag came? Do you think my bag arrived? What do you think? Nope, of course not. It did not arrive. My bag did not come. No, I waited for so long. I'm standing there waiting. I am tired beyond belief at this point. I can't even explain. I'm so tired. And I see everyone from my flight standing there getting their bags. And I'm thinking, well, maybe mine's coming at the end because, you know, mine's one of the only ones that came swapped onto this flight from another flight from the US, blah, blah, blah. Maybe got lost. I don't know. It happens. Or maybe it's coming at the end. It doesn't come. And I'm in an Egypt airport, which matters because if you're in an airport in the US and you lose your bag, there's like a clear place to go to, a clear line to stand in, multiple agents that can help you, and they're gonna, you know, fill out a form and find you back, you know? That's it. That is not how it works in Egypt. I like walk around, try to find anyone that actually works at the airport that could like give me information. And I'm like, I can't, my bag hasn't come. I finally find someone, my bag hasn't come. They're like, oh, there's a line, you can stand in over there. I'm like, is there a person actually inside of there? Because the place I had seen, it looked closed at the time. Because I looked around for like maybe 30 minutes prior, just in case, you know. But it looked closed, and so I just thought, well, that makes sense. Welcome to Egypt. But at this point, many people, I guess, had realized their bag didn't show up. Like probably like, I don't know, 10, 15 people from the different flights coming in for Egypt Air. Gotta love Egypt Air, okay, so I finally see him point, okay, there's a place there, and I guess the place had opened, so that's great, it's open. But there's about 10 people waiting in line, so I get in line. My friend's been waiting for me at this point for probably an hour, and I'm like feeling really bad. I'm like, oh man, I feel so bad. They came to pick me up and they're waiting, you know. So I get in the line, and I realize after about 20 minutes of being in the line, this line's never gonna move. That same people are still in the front talking with the agent. There's only one person up there. It's going slow as molasses. You can't even imagine. It's literally slow as molasses. No one's moved. Nothing's happening. And I realized at that point, this is not going to work out. Like, there's no way I'm ever getting to the front of that line. Like, I could be here for 3 hours and still probably not get to the front of the line. I'm not exaggerating. It's a real thing. And there's people in line with me at the back at this point, and someone someone actually walked up that was like, they didn't walk up to help. They came because someone brought them. Someone was like upset, you know, found someone that worked at the airport, brought them over. It was like, this line, you know, it's not moving. There's nothing happening. Like, what can we do here? Like, I've been waiting for almost 2 hours now. And I'm like, cool, this is not gonna happen. So I'm like on my phone trying to find, like, is there a way to fill out this baggage form, like online? Because again, this is not going to work out. You just know when you've been in Egypt for this long and you're in a line for that long, you just come to realize, you know what's happening. This is not going to work. So at this point, my friend's been waiting for over 2 hours, and I'm like, I need to just go home and I need to call on the phone or something like that, you know. So the agent that had like been brought over, I walked up, I was like, here's my little baggage claim ticket. can you help at all? And he's like, well, just wait in this line. I'm like, yeah, I know to wait in this line. But do you see how there's only one person working? Is it possible for like more people to go and help him work? And then he's like, no, that's not possible. I'm like, really? Like, could you go in and help a bit? Then he does. He's like, he walks in and starts helping. Like, this whole time you could have been in there. So now there's 2 people, no movement. I kid you not, still nothing changed. After another 10 minutes, nothing had changed. So, and again, there's lots of people in front of me. My friend's been waiting for over 2 hours, and I'm like practically dead. So I'm like, okay, I've got to go. So I go through, I get out, I get, come home. And this morning I woke up and I like had to go into the city to try to like, oh yeah, my phone decided it's not going to work anymore. Like, there's a certain time where like you have to pay your bill in, and for some reason, because I have like US credit cards and I can't pay online for some reason. I never have been able to. I have to go into the actual, it's kind of like the equivalent of Verizon or something. You have to go in the office and pay. That's what I always have to do. So my phone decided that this was the day. The phone like this, I can't explain it, but once in a while, it's not consistent. Once in a while, if I didn't pay my bill at the exact right time, then for some reason my phone line won't work. And like, I get that. Like, usually if I'm in the US, I pay my bills like so early. I'm on it, no problem. I'm on it. I've never been late. That's not the case for me in Egypt. In Egypt, I fail at everything because I don't know how to. Like, it's just I do. So it's because I was out of the country the day that it was due, and I can't. I have to be in country to pay it. I can't do it online. They won't let me. So I thought, usually like it's not that big of a deal. Like if you're like, 3, 4, 5 days after your bill, it's fine. They don't like cut your line off. You just pay, and it keeps going. But no. Today, cut. It didn't work. So I can't call the airline about my baggage. And like, you need to do that in a timely manner. Can't call. Okay. So I decide I'm going to go to the internet office. And like, my brain's not processing the days and times or anything. Like, I just arrived in Egypt. I get myself ready, which to be honest was a super major victory in my life to even wake up and like get clothes on and go outside. It's really hot here right now and I'm so tired, but I did sleep. But it was like, okay, I'm gonna go outside. That means in Egypt for me, that's like you're walking for a ways, getting a taxi, going to the place you need to go. It's really hot. I'm wearing so many clothes to cover and I'm super tired still. I arrive at the place and I like pushed myself to do this. I arrive at the place, it's closed. I'm like, wait, why is this closed? I'm thinking maybe this office particularly closed. Then I go to another office, another one that's a little bit of a distance. Anyway, further away from that one. I go there, it's closed. I'm like, oh, it's Friday. It's Friday in Egypt. Friday in Egypt is essentially a day off where this doesn't happen in the US, but like more places are closed here on a Friday than they would be in the US. So my brain I just completely forgot where I was, what day it was, anything. But it's Friday, nothing's open. Well, specifically, not nothing, but these are not open. The offices here, it's called Orange, our version of like Verizon, of my version here. It's called Orange. So Orange is closed. And the next one's closed, and I'm like, oh dear. So I grab some like food from a local grocery store and just go home. And now I'm telling you the story. This is it. This is happening. Literally, I have my one suitcase sitting here. I could barely keep my eyes open. And I can't call for my suitcase. There's no like numbers that are working on the internet for Egypt Air, because like it's Egypt in the air, you know what I'm saying? Things aren't going to work very smoothly. Don't have my bag, but I'm here. I'm back. I'm just happy to be back. I'm really happy to be back, and yeah, hey, it worked out. Oh my gosh. So that's the update, you guys. That's why I haven't gotten a video in a few days. It just the chaos was mass chaos, and I will try to get you guys some videos. Okay, I love you guys very much. Oh, I forgot to tell you something. Here's the cherry on top. Here's the cherry on top. I think the first morning I woke up to go to the passport agency. Thank God I woke up at like 5 a.m. I'm getting messages from lots of you on Instagram telling me, Villa, emergency. You did a video and your name showed on the video. Your whole name showed on the video. It's the video I did unboxing of showing like the boxer got the 100,000 subscriber play button, like the silver play button. Yeah, I accidentally showed my name apparently. I didn't realize, but I was like playing with the tape at one point. I was trying to be super careful and not show the shipping label, you know. And I'm like tapping on it, and I didn't realize, but I got really focused on like this tape moment of like pulling back the tape, and I guess my camera went like this a bit and back up. I showed my entire name, my whole name. Just spent like 6 or 7 years trying to not let you guys know my name. Yeah, I showed my name, whole thing, not a little, whole thing. So I get all these messages. I think the video at this point has been up for like, I don't know, like 8 hours or something like that. Again, I'm like waking up to rush to the passport office and all this stuff. I see these messages. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I quickly go and I just like put the video on private because like I can't do anything about it right now, right? And I can't do anything anyway. It's already shown. Like, what am I going to do? Nothing. So I just like go to the passport office. But the funniest part is I'm literally going to change my name. So I was like, you know, thank God. Thank you guys so much. It's funny and sweet. It's bittersweet for you guys because you finally found out my name. And I was literally going to change it that day. So it's just like, I'm like dying. I'm just like, oh my gosh, the day that I'd make that accident is the day I'm going to make the change on my name. So I'm super... Some of you guys know my old name, and that's kind of cute and kind of sweet. Hey, you know, we've been here together for 7 years. You deserve to know, you know, you see it. But I'm so sorry. It literally changed that day. So... yeah, if you saw my name, would you do me a favor? Would you like, you know, keep that in your heart? Would you keep that in your heart for me and not tell anyone? I'd really appreciate it because I really like being anonymous. It's really important to me. And yeah, hey, so if you could like, you know, just put that right there. Just keep it close. You know, keep it close. We have a thing. We know, you know me. I know you. You just keep it there for me, will you? But yeah, so. My name changed that day. I do apologize if you were super excited that you knew it finally, but it changed. And yeah, you know, I'll probably mess up in like another few years anyway. I'm sure I'll mess up and accidentally show my name. It's almost inevitable knowing my personality. You know, actually, it's miraculous that it didn't happen until now, if you really think about it. How did that not happen until now? I don't know. I've definitely shown my face by accident more than once. Oh my gosh. The time I showed my face by accident, it was also amazing timing because up until this point, I had never shown my face and I had never allowed comments. I never the comment section wasn't on in my videos for like years. It was just like a thing I did. I don't know. It's just like super, like just put my video out and that was it. Like I didn't have comments on anything. And yeah, I decided to let the comments go, and for this day is like, I think I made a video about it, or I like shared like comments are open, we're gonna do comments, and the next day I put out a video and it was me brushing my hair from the back, like the camera's behind me and I'm brushing my hair like this. I kid you not, in the video I turn around because something went wrong and I needed to like pause or something. I turn around, look at the camera, and like I think I did like my sign like to edit this part out, etc. I make a little sign to the camera. I go like this if I need to edit something out, so I catch it during editing. P.S. Do I always catch it? No. Are there many points in my videos where you see me just like this? Yes. Again, I you know, it's just me. I can't It just happens sometimes. So yeah, that day I turn around and I don't know how it's possible, but in editing, I didn't take it out. And so I just like looked directly at the camera, turn back around and keep going. And thank God, the day before that is the first time I ever put comments on. So you guys commented, I don't know if you realised, but you showed your face. I'm not sure if it's on purpose or not. Like, you let comments on recently, so maybe you didn't care. But I'm like, no, I didn't mean to show my face. I'd like stop that video, take it out, put it back up with it, my face out. It's just like, so yeah, I'm sure I'll mess up again. It will happen. Yeah, it's just me, but I'm trying. Okay, guys, thanks for watching.